Everyone knows Solomon as the wisest king in history. After all, who would ask for wisdom instead of riches or power? But what if I told you the story you know is only half the truth? That behind all the glory, silent and fatal decisions were being made. And what if the same man who built the grandest temple on earth also dug with his own hands the pit of his own downfall? Today, we reveal what few dare to tell, the other side of Solomon's life, where the brilliance of wisdom blends with the shadows of human weakness. Get ready, because the story that begins illuminated ends wrapped in darkness. Before he was king, Solomon was just another one of King David's many sons, born amidst scandal, tragedy, and political unrest. His mother, Bathsheba, had earned her place in the palace through a story that began in sin, but ended in redemption before God. David's court was filled with whispers, secret alliances, and hidden ambitions. While older brothers like Adonijah plotted behind the scenes, rallying military leaders and priests to their side, Solomon was seen by many as the son of a mistake, not the rightful heir. But God does not see as man sees. Behind the curtains of history, the Lord was preparing a different script. With a promise made to David in his final days, the wise intervention of the prophet Nathan, and the boldness of Bathsheba, Solomon was crowned hastily, in a desperate race against Adonijah's coup. It wasn't military strength nor human will that placed the crown on his head. It was God's choice. The unlikely heir, born from a story of grace and promise, rose to lead Israel during its greatest golden age. And from that improbable beginning, the true story unfolds. In the early days of his reign, Solomon was young and inexperienced, but he had something many rulers never possess, a deep awareness of his own limitations. Israel, under David's rule, had expanded like never before. Now, preserving peace and administering justice would require more than military might. It would require divine wisdom. At Gibeon, Solomon did something unexpected. He offered 1,000 sacrifices to the Lord. 1,000. An extravagant, unprecedented offering. Not just political display, but an act of profound dependency and reverence. That very night, God appeared to Solomon in a dream. Ask for whatever you want me to give you. Faced with a blank check from heaven, Solomon could have asked for victories, unimaginable treasures, or the death of his enemies. Instead, he asked for something different, a discerning heart to govern your people and distinguish between right and wrong. That request delighted the heart of God. Solomon did not seek glory for himself. He sought wisdom to serve. And because of that, God granted him everything, wisdom beyond measure, and also wealth, fame, and a prosperity Israel had never seen. The impact of Solomon's request was immediate. God endowed him with wisdom beyond human comprehension, practical wisdom to judge complex matters, and profound wisdom about life, nature, and existence itself. The most famous demonstration of his wisdom came during a dispute between two women over a child. With a decision that revealed the true mother's heart, Solomon proved he was the judge Israel needed. His fame crossed borders. Rulers of distant lands sent gifts, envoys, and letters, eager to hear his insights. The Queen of Sheba, likely from Ethiopia or southern Arabia, traveled for weeks to test him with difficult questions and riddles. She left Jerusalem breathless, not only impressed by Solomon's wisdom, but also by the order of his court, the excellence of his servants, and the splendor of the temple. The Temple of Solomon, built according to divine designs revealed to David, was a masterpiece of faith and craftsmanship. Massive stones were cut in silence, golden walls reflected heavenly light, and symbolic carvings adorned the sanctuary, a visual invitation to worship the Most High. Israel enjoyed an unprecedented era of peace, prosperity, and stability. For the first time, God's chosen nation wasn't just surviving, it was shining on the world stage. But where great light exists, great shadows can also emerge. Despite God's clear warnings not to multiply wives, horses, or alliances with pagan nations, Solomon did exactly what had been forbidden. He married 700 royal wives and maintained 300 concubines. Each marriage sealed a political alliance, but also brought foreign gods and their worship into Jerusalem: Ashtoreth, the fertility goddess; Molech, who demanded child sacrifices. Slowly, altars rose, hilltops were corrupted, and the heart of the king, once fully devoted to the God of Israel, became divided. He didn't merely tolerate these practices. He built the altars. He participated. The wise Solomon, who once so clearly discerned right from wrong, now lost himself in the smoke of strange incense and broken loyalties. Thus, the poison of idolatry seeped into the people. The king, who should have guarded the heart of the nation, had opened the gates to its future downfall. God saw, God heard, God spoke. The Lord was deeply angered with Solomon, not because he was imperfect, but because he abandoned the covenant despite knowing the truth. Out of love for David, God restrained his hand. Solomon would rule until his death, but afterward, the kingdom would be torn apart. The prophet Ahijah encountered Jeroboam, one of Solomon's officials, and tore his cloak into 12 pieces, giving 10 to Jeroboam, symbolizing the coming division between the northern and southern kingdoms. Adversaries began to rise: Hadad, Rezon, small signs that the long era of peace was crumbling. And Solomon, who once ruled with splendor and wisdom, grew old under the silent weight of regret and mounting political tension. The gold of the empire began to crack. Glory gave way to distrust. What God had spoken was about to come true. Solomon's story began as that of the unlikely chosen one, crowned amid chaos, guided by God's hand and armed with divine wisdom. He built a kingdom that shone like the sun, but a few small compromises were enough for the gold to start rusting. Solomon's life teaches us that extraordinary gifts cannot replace daily faithfulness, that wisdom without obedience becomes an empty crown, and that the greatest spiritual tragedies don't happen in storms. They unfold in whispers, in small concessions, in divided hearts. What part of Solomon's story surprised you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. If this journey brought you new reflections, give it a like and subscribe to Verse Within for more deep dives into the hidden truths of the Bible. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter of this living story.